Welcome back to the Rhinesith Advisory channel. My name is Nelson. Today we are going to look at the research introduction. Now, a research introduction is very key to your research proposal because it is the first thing that the reader is going to read, especially if you're writing for a grant or even a peer review journal. So you need to have a very compelling introduction, and this is what I'm going to take you through so that you're able to capture your audience. So the first thing is that you need to grab the reader's attention. So you need to have something in your first paragraph that grabs the reader's attention. We usually call this the hook. So I'm going to read you an example of what a hook would be like. Usually it has a statistic or it has a very, catchy quote. So here is an example. Every day, millions of tons of perfectly edible food go to waste while millions around the world suffer from hunger and malnutrition. Here's another example. In low-income countries, the probability of a girl who has undergone induced abortion experiencing complications including death is close to 50%. This is alarming, especially when considering that 3 out of every 10 pregnant girls resort to induced abortion. So when you give such statistics, they compel the reader gets interested and they want to read on. So usually this then takes you into the next step, and this is where you now state your problem outright. So usually if the compelling statement has been like a consequence of the problem, then this pushes you straight right into the problem. So here let me read an example of a problem statement. Food wastage has thus become a global crisis as approximately 1/3 of all food produced for human consumption is lost or wasted. This not only squanders valuable resources but also exacerbates food insecurity and environmental degradation. So now that you have given the reader a hook to grab them, and then you've given them the problem of your research, now questions are going to be going up through their mind. They'll be asking themselves, is this food security also in my country? What food is being wasted? Who is wasting this food? And then that's where you now provide more information regarding your problem so that some of these questions of the reader can be answered. So here's an example. The causes of food wastage are multifaceted and occur throughout the entire food supply. In developed countries such as the United States and Europe, consumer behavior and food management practices are major contributors to food waste. Household waste accounts for a significant portion of the overall food loss, with consumers discarding edible food due to factors like overbuying, improper storage, and misinterpretation of expiry dates. On the other hand, in developing nations, inadequate infrastructure, poor harvesting and storage practices, and limited access to markets contribute substantially to pre-consumer food losses. So this and many more information can be provided as you are trying to answer the reader's questions, which may be different depending on the topic you are working with. Now, once you have given the reader enough information to orient them about your problem, usually in so doing, you are going to identify a research gap. There is information you won't be able to share, perhaps because it's not existent. This is that point where you will now bring in your thesis or your research question, and usually it is addressing that research gap because the reader will have noted that, this information wasn't provided, or you may have even mentioned it outright that this information is not existent, and that just brings you into your research question. So here's an example from what we've been reading. The researcher seeks to investigate the potential solutions to food waste by conducting a comprehensive analysis of existing literature, case studies, and expert interviews with a focus on pre-consumer losses. So this is an example of a thesis statement. So once you've provided this information in that structure in your introduction, the reader will be well oriented and will be intrigued to read on and get to know more about your research paper. And that is the introduction, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for watching this video. Catch you on the next video. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification button.